When we gaze upon the magnificent art of ancient Egypt, it's easy to be captivated by its sheer beauty and scale. We see towering statues of pharaohs, intricate golden masks, and colorful paintings that have survived for thousands of years. But this art is so much more than just decoration. It is a complex visual language, a window that allows us to look directly into the hearts and minds of this incredible ancient civilization. Every image, every carving, and every symbol was placed with a purpose. It was designed to communicate powerful ideas about life, death, power, and the gods. To the ancient Egyptians, art was not just something to look at. It was something that had a job to do. Think of the walls of a tomb, not as a gallery, but as a roadmap for the soul's journey into the afterlife. The art you see there wasn't meant for the living. It was created for the deceased and for the gods who would guide them. These images were believed to have a magical function, ensuring that the person buried within would want for nothing in the next world. The scenes of farming, feasting, and family were not just memories of a life lived. They were a magical guarantee that these activities would continue for eternity. This makes Egyptian art a living, breathing entity, full of secret messages and hidden power that we are still working to understand today. This art was also a powerful tool for the state and for the pharaoh. The immense statues of rulers like Ramesses II were not just portraits. They were statements of divine authority and unshakable power. By depicting the pharaoh as a god or alongside the gods, the artists reinforced the idea that the king's rule was absolute and ordained by the heavens. These images were everywhere, from colossal temple pylons to small personal amulets. They constantly reminded the people of the cosmic order and their place within it. The art was a form of propaganda, a way to maintain stability and project an image of a powerful, eternal kingdom. So, as we begin to explore this ancient world, we must set aside our modern ideas of what art is for. We need to see it through Egyptian eyes. It was a bridge between the human and the divine, the living and the dead, the present and eternity. It was a practical tool, a spiritual guide, and a political statement all rolled into one. The colors, the shapes, the very materials used were all part of this elaborate code. By learning to read this visual language, we can unlock the secrets of what the ancient Egyptians truly believed, feared, and hoped for. It is a journey into a world where images held the key to everlasting life. The ancient Egyptians developed a rich vocabulary of symbols to express their most profound ideas about the universe. These were not just simple pictures, they were potent icons, each loaded with layers of meaning related to their gods and their understanding of life's great cycle. Perhaps one of the most famous of these is the Ankh. This symbol, which looks like a cross with a loop at the top, represented the concept of life itself. It was often shown being held by gods and goddesses who would offer it to the pharaoh's nose, symbolically giving him the breath of life. Finding an Ankh in a tomb was a powerful charm, a prayer for eternal existence in the afterlife. Another incredibly important symbol we see everywhere is the scarab beetle. To us, it might just be an insect, but to the Egyptians, it was a creature of immense power. They observed the scarab rolling a ball of dung across the sand, from which its young would later emerge. This reminded them of the sun god Ra, who was believed to roll the sun across the sky each day, bringing new life and light. The scarab, known as Keper, became a symbol of creation, transformation, and rebirth. Amulets in the shape of scarab beetles were among the most popular personal charms, worn by both the living and the dead to ensure protection and regeneration. We also see the gods themselves depicted in very specific ways, often as a hybrid of human and animal forms. This wasn't because the Egyptians thought their gods actually looked like this. Instead, the animal head was a way of expressing a particular quality or power of that deity. For example, Horus, the sky god and protector of the pharaoh, was shown with the head of a falcon, a bird known for its sharp eyesight and majestic flight high above the earth. Anubis, the god of mummification and the afterlife, had the head of a jackal, a creature often seen scavenging around the edges of the desert where the cemeteries were located. These forms were a symbolic shorthand, an instant way to recognize a god and understand their role. Other powerful symbols included the Eye of Horus, also known as the Wadjet Eye, which represented healing, protection, and restoration. According to myth, Horus lost his eye in a battle with his uncle Seth, and it was later magically restored by the god Thoth. This story made the symbol a powerful amulet for warding off evil and ensuring wholeness. The Djed pillar, a symbol representing the backbone of the god Osiris, stood for stability and endurance. These symbols were not just artistic flourishes. They were the building blocks of a complex theological system woven into every aspect of Egyptian art to convey fundamental truths about their world. Egyptian art gives us an extraordinary glimpse into not only the grand beliefs of the pharaohs, but also the daily routines of ordinary people. While tombs were primarily focused on the afterlife, the scenes they chose to depict were often idealized versions of their life on Earth. We see detailed paintings of farmers plowing fields with oxen, sowing seeds, and harvesting grain. These images were not just a record of their work, they were a magical instruction to the gods, ensuring that the deceased would have an endless supply of bread and beer, the staples of the Egyptian diet in the next world. Every detail, from the tools they used to the clothes they wore, tells us a story about their society. The art also reveals a deep love for family and community. In tomb paintings and statues, we often see a husband and wife depicted side by side, sometimes holding hands or with an arm around each other, showing a clear sense of affection and partnership. Children are often shown with them, playing games or helping with chores. These scenes project an image of an ideal family unit that the Egyptians hoped would continue forever after death. They tell us what was most important to them, not just wealth and status, but the bonds of love and kinship. The art freezes these perfect moments, making them eternal. The feasts and celebrations depicted in tombs are another wonderful source of information. We see tables piled high with food, loaves of bread, roasted ducks, figs, and grapes. We see musicians playing harps, lutes, and flutes, while dancers entertain the guests. These vibrant scenes show us how the Egyptians enjoyed life and socialized. But again, there is a dual purpose. For the deceased, these images were a magical guarantee that their afterlife would be filled with joy, music, and an abundance of food and drink. The paintings acted as a permanent menu from which the soul could magically draw sustenance for all eternity. Furthermore, the art provides invaluable clues about their technology and craftsmanship. We see detailed images of boat builders constructing vessels for travel on the Nile, carpenters making furniture, and jewelers crafting beautiful ornaments. The statues themselves, carved from incredibly hard stones like granite, are a testament to their skill in stonemasonry. The paintings show us the pigments they used and how they mixed them. By studying this art, we learn about their economy, their trade networks, and their incredible ingenuity. The art is a visual encyclopedia of how an ancient society functioned, what they valued, and how they hoped to live forever. To truly understand ancient Egypt, we must become decoders of their sacred art. It is not enough to simply admire the golden mask of Tutankhamun for its beauty. We must ask why it was made. We must recognize the vulture and cobra goddesses on his brow as symbols of protection over Upper and Lower Egypt. We must see the false beard as a sign of his divinity, and the intricate inscriptions as magical spells to guide him through the underworld. Every element is part of a larger narrative, a profound statement about kingship, divinity, and the promise of eternal life. When we decode these messages, a static object in a museum case transforms into a dynamic story. This process of decoding helps us piece together the puzzle of Egyptian civilization in a way that written texts alone cannot. While hieroglyphs give us official histories and religious texts, the art shows us an unspoken reality. It reveals the subtle nuances of their beliefs, their social structures, and their deepest human desires. The art shows us what they considered essential for a good life and a successful afterlife. It illustrates their profound connection to the natural world, seeing the divine in the flight of a falcon, the cycle of the sun, and the annual flooding of the Nile. It is a more intimate and holistic history, written in pictures instead of words. For example, looking at the weighing of the heart ceremony, depicted in countless books of the dead, reveals the core of Egyptian morality. We see the heart of the deceased being weighed on a scale against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. If the heart was heavy with bad deeds, it would be devoured by a fearsome monster. If it was light, the person was granted eternal life. This single scene tells us more about their ethical framework and belief in accountability than volumes of text might. It shows that they believed that living a good, balanced life was essential for a positive outcome after death. Ultimately, by learning to read the hidden messages in Egyptian art, we do more than just learn about the past. We connect with a civilization that, despite the thousands of years that separate us, grappled with the same fundamental questions we do today. They sought order in a chaotic world. They feared death and hoped for an existence beyond it. And they used their creativity to express their deepest beliefs and aspirations. Unlocking the secrets of their art is not just an academic exercise. It is a journey that enriches our own understanding of the human experience and the enduring power of art to communicate across the ages.